It was the year 336 BC, a time of great change and turmoil in the ancient world. The stage was set for events that would shape the course of history for centuries to come. In the grand halls of the Macedonian palace, a huge celebration was underway. The air was thick with excitement and anticipation as guests from all corners of the kingdom gathered to partake in the festivities. King Philip II, the formidable ruler of Macedon and the conqueror of Greece, was hosting an extravagant wedding party for his beloved daughter. The event was not just a family affair, but a display of power and unity. The palace was alive with the sounds of music, the laughter of guests, and the mouth-watering aroma of a grand feast. Musicians played ancient instruments, filling the hall with melodies that echoed through the corridors. Everyone was in high spirits, enjoying the lavish food and drink, dancing and laughing as they celebrated the joyous occasion. The atmosphere was one of pure happiness and revelry. At the head of the feast table sat King Philip, looking every bit the proud and powerful monarch. His presence commanded respect and admiration from all who were present. But amidst the celebration, a sense of foreboding lingered in the air. Unbeknownst to the guests, a dark shadow was about to cast a pall over the festivities. As Philip walked into the open theater, the lively chatter and laughter of the guests suddenly ceased. All eyes turned to the king, their attention captured by his commanding presence. Philip was a strong leader and a seasoned warrior, his one eye a testament to his battles and his unyielding ambition. He exuded confidence and strength, qualities that had earned him the loyalty and respect of his people. He looked like a man who was destined to win, a leader who had never known defeat. His smile was one of triumph, his posture one of unwavering confidence. But in an instant, the joyous atmosphere turned tense. Philip's expression shifted from one of pride to one of sudden concern, as if sensing an imminent threat. From the shadows a figure emerged, moving swiftly, and with deadly intent. The festive hall, once filled with laughter, now held its breath in anticipation of the unfolding drama. It was Pausanias, a former bodyguard of the king, his face twisted with anger and betrayal. In his hand he clutched a knife, its blade glinting ominously in the light. With a cry of rage, Pausanias lunged at the king, the knife plunging into Philip's body. The moment seemed to stretch into eternity as the king fell, the life draining from his eyes. The hall erupted into chaos. Guests screamed and scrambled to escape, their joyous celebration turned into a scene of horror and confusion. The party, once a symbol of unity and power, had descended into pandemonium. The laughter and music were replaced by cries of fear and the sound of hurried footsteps. Guards rushed to apprehend the assassin, but it was too late. King Philip lay dead, his blood staining the floor of the grand hall. The kingdom was plunged into uncertainty and fear. The news of Philip's assassination spread quickly, sending shockwaves through the kingdom. Citizens were gripped by fear and uncertainty, their future now hanging in the balance. Amidst the chaos, one question loomed large: who would rise to take Philip's place? The eyes of the kingdom turned to Alexander, the young prince, whose destiny was now intertwined with the fate of Macedon and its ambitions to conquer Persia. Philip's murder shocked everyone. No one knew why it happened. Pausanias, the assassin, was killed right away by the guards. Why did he do it? Some people thought Pausanias wanted revenge for something. Others thought Olympias, Philip's wife and Alexander's mom, was behind it, maybe trying to get more power. Some even blamed Persian spies who wanted to stop Philip from attacking their country. No one knew the real story. Philip's death was a big problem. It left Macedon without a leader, and many people wanted to take his place. Philip had enemies inside his kingdom and in Greece. Would they try to take over now? Would anyone be able to lead the army against Persia like Philip planned? News of Philip's death spread quickly. The once vibrant and bustling kingdom of Macedon was suddenly thrown into a state of uncertainty and chaos. The streets buzzed with whispers and speculations, as people tried to grasp the implications of their king's untimely demise. The air was thick with tension and the future seemed more unpredictable than ever. It reached his son, Alexander, a 20-year-old known for being smart and ambitious, but also quick-tempered. Alexander had always been a figure of intrigue within the kingdom. His fiery hair and piercing eyes were a testament to his passionate nature. He was a young man who had grown up in the shadow of his father's greatness, always striving to prove himself worthy of the legacy that awaited him. He had been trained to be a leader by the best teachers, even the famous philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander had learned not just the art of war, but also the philosophies that shaped great leaders. He was taught to think critically, to question the world around him, and to seek knowledge relentlessly. These lessons had molded him into a formidable young man, ready to take on the challenges that lay ahead. But nothing could have prepared him for what was coming. The sudden death of his father had thrust him into a position of immense responsibility and danger. The path to the throne was fraught with peril, and Alexander knew that every decision he made would be scrutinized and challenged. Alexander's path to becoming king was dangerous. The kingdom of Macedon was a land where power was often seized through force and cunning. It was a place where alliances were fragile, and betrayal was a common currency. Alexander had to navigate this treacherous landscape with both strength and intelligence. Macedon was a place where strength and ruthlessness mattered most. The warriors of Macedon were known for their ferocity in battle, and the political arena was no less brutal. To secure his position, Alexander would need to demonstrate not only his military prowess but also his ability to outmaneuver his rivals. He had to act fast to take control and stop others from taking over. The news of Philip's death had already set the wheels of ambition in motion. Various factions within the kingdom were plotting to seize power, and Alexander had to move swiftly to consolidate his position. He knew that hesitation could be fatal. Could he be as great as his father and keep the kingdom together? This question haunted Alexander as he stood before the statue of his father. Philip had been a legendary king, a unifier of the Greek states, and a brilliant strategist. Alexander wondered if he could live up to that legacy and maintain the unity and strength of the kingdom. Philip's wives and girlfriends, each wanting their own sons to be king, saw a chance to grab power. The royal court was a hotbed of intrigue and ambition. Philip's numerous wives and concubines each had their own agendas, and they saw the king's death as an opportunity to advance their own sons' claims to the throne. The palace was rife with plotting and scheming. The palace was full of secrets and betrayals. Hidden corridors and shadowy figures were a constant reminder of the dangers that lurked within the royal walls. Trust was a rare commodity, and Alexander had to be constantly vigilant to protect himself from those who sought to undermine him. Alexander was surrounded by enemies. Both within the palace and beyond, there were many who wished to see him fail. Rival claimants to the throne, disgruntled nobles and foreign powers all posed threats to his rule. Alexander had to be ever watchful. Knowing that danger could come from any direction, he had to be strong and clever. Strength alone would not be enough to secure his position. Alexander needed to be shrewd and strategic, using his intellect to outwit his opponents. He had to build alliances, win the loyalty of his father's generals, and prove himself as a capable leader. One wrong move could ruin everything. The stakes were incredibly high, and Alexander knew that a single misstep could lead to his downfall. Every decision had to be carefully considered, every action meticulously planned. The weight of the kingdom rested on his young shoulders. Everyone watched to see what the young prince would do. The eyes of Macedon were upon him, and the world waited with bated breath. Would Alexander rise to the occasion and secure his place as king, or would he falter under the immense pressure? The future of the kingdom hung in the balance, and only time would tell if Alexander could fulfill his destiny. Alexander's iron grip. Even though he was young, Alexander was strong and smart, just like his father. From a very early age, he displayed remarkable intelligence and physical prowess, traits that were essential for a future leader. His father, Philip II, had laid a strong foundation, and Alexander was determined to build upon it. He was not just a mere successor, he was a visionary who saw the potential for greatness far beyond the borders of Macedonia. He knew he had to take control quickly and hold on tight. The sudden death of his father left a power vacuum that could have easily led to chaos. Alexander understood that hesitation could be fatal. With a firm grip on the royal scepter, he symbolized his readiness to lead and his determination to maintain order. His resolve was unshakable, and his vision for the future was clear. He moved fast, taking charge of the royal court and the army. Alexander wasted no time in asserting his authority. He reorganized the court, placing loyal supporters in key positions. His swift actions ensured that any potential threats were neutralized before they could gain momentum. His leadership style was both decisive and strategic, earning him the respect and loyalty of his followers. Anyone who disagreed with him or could be a problem was dealt with harshly. Alexander was aware that leniency could be perceived as weakness. He made it clear that dissent would not be tolerated. Those who opposed him were swiftly removed, ensuring that his rule remained unchallenged. His actions, though harsh, were necessary to maintain stability and prevent rebellion. One by one, Alexander stopped his enemies. He was relentless in his pursuit of those who threatened his reign. His enemies, whether internal or external, were systematically neutralized. Alexander's strategic mind allowed him to outmaneuver his opponents, ensuring that his position remained secure. Some he tricked out of power. Alexander's cunning was legendary. He used deception and clever tactics to outwit his adversaries. By playing on their weaknesses and exploiting their mistakes, he was able to remove them from positions of power without direct confrontation. His ability to think several steps ahead made him a formidable opponent. Others, who fought against him, were killed. For those who chose to challenge him openly, Alexander showed no mercy. His military prowess was unmatched, and he led his troops to numerous victories. The battlefield became a testament to his strength and tactical genius. His enemies fell one by one, solidifying his reputation as an invincible leader. Alexander knew that fear was a powerful tool. He understood the psychological aspects of leadership. By instilling fear in his subjects and enemies alike, he ensured compliance and deterred rebellion. His stern demeanor and unwavering resolve made it clear that he was not to be trifled with. He showed everyone he was the boss. Alexander's authority was absolute. He made sure that his subjects knew who was in charge. By demonstrating his power and control, he reinforced his position as the undisputed ruler. His presence commanded respect and obedience. The kingdom, which had been close to falling apart, started to calm down under his rule. Alexander's leadership brought stability to a fractured kingdom. His decisive actions and strategic reforms helped to restore order. The once chaotic realm began to flourish under his guidance, with subjects working together towards a common goal. He also made sure the Greek cities his father controlled stayed loyal. Alexander knew the importance of maintaining alliances. He worked diligently to ensure that the Greek cities remained loyal to his rule. Through diplomacy and strategic marriages, he strengthened these bonds, securing the support of key regions. He knew it was important to look strong and united. Alexander's vision extended beyond mere conquest. He aimed to create a unified and prosperous kingdom. By projecting strength and unity, he inspired confidence in his subjects. His leadership was not just about power, it was about building a legacy that would endure for generations. Winning the hearts of Macedon. Being king wasn't just about being tough. Alexander needed the loyalty of the Macedonian people, especially the soldiers. He had to make them believe he was the right leader. Alexander was charming and a great speaker. He promised to get revenge for his father's murder and conquer Persia, bringing glory to Macedon. The soldiers loved it. He was also smart. He gave gifts to his father's old soldiers and fought alongside his men, showing he wasn't afraid. He acted like one of them, not a fancy king. Alexander's charm and strategy worked. He wasn't just Philip's son anymore. He was Alexander, their king, ready to lead them to greatness. He was becoming even more famous than his father.